Hello all, so this is a notes paper about slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. You should have your day 3 packet out. So we've been covering parallel and perpendicular lines before. Parallel lines are lines that never intersect, so they never intersect. And perpendicular lines are lines that form right angles. Now, as far as equations go, parallel and perpendicular lines have different properties. So if lines are parallel, they have the same slope. So the same slope if they're parallel. And for perpendicular, they say that the slopes are a product, they end up to be -1. How I remember it are the slopes are opposite reciprocals. So opposite means that they're different signs. Reciprocal means that they're flipped. So in this first example, you'll notice that it just highlights what the slope is of those 3 equations. And you notice that the slope of the first and the third line are the same. So therefore, the first and the third line are parallel. In the second equation, you'll notice the first and the third, okay, the second and the third are, one is positive, one is negative. That is the opposite, okay? And then if I put a 1 under the 3, they're flipped. So these 2 equations are perpendicular because they're opposite reciprocals. Opposite meaning one's positive, one's negative. Reciprocal means that they're flipped. Let's go to some practice problems. So, in these first 2 problems, we have to decide which one is parallel and which one is perpendicular. So, I'm going to start by graphing. These are in y equals mx plus b form. So my m here is 4, my b here is 2. So this is going to be my orange line here. So I'm going to start here at 2. And then I'm going to use my slope to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1. I'm slightly off the graph there. And I can draw my line like that. For my second one, I'll make this purple. Okay, I'm going to start at 1. And now I'm going to go up 2 over 1. And I'm going to draw that line. You can tell that these 2 lines are not parallel at all because they do cross. But for my third line, my blue line, I'm going to start at -3 and I'm going to go up 2 over 1. And if I continue that, you'll notice that my purple and blue, these 2 equations right here, are parallel to each other. So you'll also notice that each one of them is 2x. So that means that their slopes are the same, okay? But these, the b's, are different. That is the key. So for parallel lines, the slopes have to be the same and the y-intercepts have to be different. So y equals 2x plus 1 and y equals 2x minus 3 are parallel. In my next equation, you'll notice I'm going to do the same thing, but what I'm looking for in perpendicular, opposite, meaning positive or negative, right? So one's positive, one's negative. And reciprocal meaning flipped. So flipped means I'm going to take my slope and I'm going to flip it over. So I can tell right here, if I take negative 2/3 and I change it, so the opposite is just 2/3, and then I change it again to the reciprocal, that's 3/2. So these two things are opposite reciprocals, which match up to those equations. So I can already tell that y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2 and y equals 3/2x plus 1 are perpendicular. Okay? So if I graph both of those, I'll graph this one in orange. I go up 2, I start at 2, and then I go down 2/3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And I can graph that line. And I'll graph this one in purple. Now I'm going to start at 1. And now I'm going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3/2. I'm going to draw that line. Do you notice that it makes a right angle right here? So that's what it means to be perpendicular. They're going to cross, but they're going to cross at a right angle. Parallel means that they're not going to cross at all. For my next example, we're going to go to the next page. And we're going to actually write the equation in slope-intercept form. So my first step is always to find the slope. So finding my slope means that if it's parallel, they're going to be the same. If it's perpendicular, they're going to be opposite reciprocals. So in problem number 3, it steps you through it. So if I give you y equals 6x minus 3, write the slope of a line that's parallel and perpendicular. So parallel, my m is going to be 6. It's not going to change. For my perpendicular, it's going to be 1/6, and it's going to be negative. So my m here is 6/1. So parallel doesn't change it, but perpendicular, opposite, and reciprocal. So again, parallel for number 4 isn't going to change it. It's going to stay as 4/3. And perpendicular, I'm going to change it from a positive to a negative, and I'm going to flip the fraction to 3/4. Now, 5 and 6 are all about writing the equation of a line. So 5 and 6, I'm writing the equation of the line. That passes through a point and is either parallel or perpendicular to another line. So we need a process to do that. So let's take 5 separately. 5 says that it's parallel. So parallel means same slope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take y equals negative x minus 4. In this, I'm going to isolate right here. So my m is negative 1. Parallel, don't change the slope. Okay? So I'm going to say my new equation, step 1 is to write it as negative 1x plus b. I'm going to take this slope and I'm going to plug it in right there. Now I'm going to take each one of these, x comma y, and I'm going to plug that in here. Okay? So it's going to turn out to be 5 equals negative 1 times 6 plus b. Now I multiply negative 1 times 6. And I'm going to add 6 on both sides. So my b equals 11. So my new equation turns out to be y equals negative x plus 11. So this is my new y-intercept, and this is my slope, because my slope has not changed. For 6, I have to now deal with perpendicular lines. So perpendicular, again, opposite reciprocals. Opposite reciprocals. So I'm going to take my negative 4 and I'm going to change it. First, opposite, I'm going to change it to 4, and then my reciprocal, I'm going to change that to 1 over 4. So that's the slope I'm going to use. Now I follow the same steps. I'm going to say y equals 1/4 x plus b. I'm going to take my point and I'm going to plug it in. So it's going to be negative 1 equals 1/4 times 8 plus b. I'm going to throw a 1 under the 8. I'm going to multiply 8 over 4 plus b. I can then simplify the 8 over 4. The negative 1 equals 2 plus b. I'll subtract 2 on both sides. My b is negative 3. So my new equation is y equals 1/4 x minus 3. So that's how you write the equation for all of these points. So as you're going through, try these practice problems that are attached, and then at the end, complete this exit ticket to finish the packet. Thank you very much.